So you guys have heard me talk about Josh a lot. Probably about 60% of the reason I actually got a Honda. Because like I said, I never thought I would own one. But anyways, at some point or another, he's going to make an entrance because he's going to be here a lot. So without further ado, here we go.
What's up, guys? So this is a manual rack and pinion in which I want to swap this into the EK hatch, which is behind Kyle. Take power steering out. The last car that I built, I did this. I had actually a 97 EX Coupe that I pulled power steering out when I built the motor and put the manual rack in, because in autocross or road racing, it actually gives you a better feel of the car unless you run some sort of aftermarket water or aftermarket power steering pump. Like I know a buddy of mine that is actually doing a Volvo power steering setup that's a remote mount that he's going to remount in the trunk and run the lines up to the motor. But the steering ratios are different. Whatever you just gotta experience all options and get a feel of what you like. But for me, this is a really good feel for me. I like to feel the car on the road and everything about the car when you're driving it. So what we're doing is we're rebuilding the rack, and I've already done one side of it because I got this handy new tool here and never used it before, but I wanted to do one side and get a feel for it. And it's actually pretty easy. It's a pretty cool tool. But what you got to do, you got to take the outer tie rod in. All right, so as you can tell, it also helps if you remove the nut prior to you taking the boot off. All right, so this little crowfoot that the kit comes with, you'll slide it over there just like so. Put this in there, align the crowfoot into the tool. Do like that. Okay. Take your breaker bar. And then, this is where a buddy comes in handy, where you need somebody to hold it while you break it loose.
Is this moving or did it come loose?
No, it moved.
Huh?
It moved. Oh no, it came loose. That was it. So there's not a lot of torque on it. See it, and whenever you turn this too, it automatically locks. So if you slide it off, you can just line it right back up, and it won't come off until you unlock it. I might need to give it another little turn here.
So do you want to tell a story, Josh, or do you want me to? I think you should, because you were there when it happened. So.
Oh, was I? All right.
So start off when you told me a couple weeks ago what was going on.
So I had a squeak coming from the driver's front. It was a little bit more than a squeak, really, but it was just, it almost sounded like a strut squeak, but it wasn't. Obviously, what you're about to see. So, needless to say, leaving work, yesterday,
Friday. What'd you do before you left work, though? What did you decide to do? It was a Friday
It
afternoon?
was a Friday afternoon. I have the weekend off, so, you know, that just puts you in a good mood when you don't have to work Saturday. So, pulled out of work, and I literally live 700 yards away from work. So, I did a nice little first to second pull. Turned into my neighborhood, turned to the left, turned to the right, and then was about to turn to the left again to get on my street, and my car came to a screeching halt.
Oh, where'd that get you, buddy?
So I get out, and I realize that my ball joint is no longer attached to my spindle. And mind you, cotter pins are very important, okay? Because that will kill you on the road.
Luckily, you're only going like 8 miles an hour.
I'm good with that. As you can see, I made sure to properly use a cotter pin in the bottom of my ball joint. But hard race, okay? Hard race makes, in my opinion, fabulous hardened bushings. So, in my opinion, when you build your suspension, hard race bushings are actually top notch. I don't know, these parts are 3 years old. It's been on this car since I did the suspension, and I don't know if it was an internal failure on the ball joint yet. I'm going to contact Hard Race because it's a Hard Race extended ball joint. It's supposed to help with the center of gravity on your car when you lower it. So I actually had Buddy Club extended ball joints on my white Civic that I built. Never had a problem with them. But this happened, and luckily I was only going 7 miles an hour. Otherwise, this could have turned out to be an absolute disaster, and I possibly couldn't even be here talking to you about it. But it happened, so you just got to move on and fix it. Oh, also, if you look, when the wheel turned this way, and as you can see, my fender was rolled a little bit, but now it's
a custom roll.
Custom roll, that's what that is. So when it did it, it obviously jammed the spindle this way and locked it. Like, this is a front wheel drive car, obviously, and I had 90. I probably had just as much steering angle as Von Gittin Jr. So it full locked it, and if you look right through here, completely ripped the inner joint right out of the axle. The joint is still in the transmission, but it is not connected. So that's just another thing that I got to fix. Fun.
We got it out, boys. Here's what she looked like. Split right in the middle. Here's what's left of the ball joint. Ripperino.
Look how he looks at you. I don't think he looks at these legs. No shoes.
Things look clean too, man. Brand new. All we got left is core support and the grill.